The news, as we know it, is dying. With technological changes of the past few decades, larger companies have devoured local news in the United States, shifting focus to national news and blinding our sight within local communities. To make matters worse, the news we're fed is often just entertainment masquerading as journalism, heavily editorializing current events to take advantage of our increasingly polarized political climate. This impacts everyone, as misinformation spreads from the audience through social media, and lawmakers use these editorials as a foundation to make judgments and create policy. Strong journalistic health highlights critical information that serves to inform and protect the community. Local journalists have the advantage and focus necessary to cover these issues most applicable to the community. They are better suited to follow leads and local knowledge and report with the credibility and understanding of an invested resident. Strong journalism is necessary to maintain a robust ecosystem for the community, holding candidates and policies accountable under the watchful eyes of an informed public. With the decay of local news, fewer candidates compete in local races, creating lopsided, easily won campaigns where incumbents remain unchallenged. This is often more important as decreased competition erodes public engagement and federal spending. No other media has yet to act as a full replacement of localized journalistic coverage. The health of a local news ecosystem depends on the quantity and quality of local news content, whether all community members have equal access to information, how community-specific it is, the diversity of viewpoints among journalists and editors, and how effectively it addresses critical information needs. The quality of coverage can be directly tied to the circulation of local newspapers, or the lack thereof. When a community no longer has access to dedicated local news, it forms a news desert. Newspapers have lost over $35 billion in revenue and 47% of newsroom staff over the past 15 years. Over 2,100 newspapers have closed completely. That's roughly 1/4 of all newspapers across the country. Digital ad revenue is actually rather lucrative, but the bulk of that profit flows to two companies. An estimated 77% of revenue through local news has been lost to Facebook and Google. While these platforms avoid the labor of producing these stories, people increasingly access the work of local outlets through feeds, searches, and local alerts. Similar to newspapers, local broadcast news stations have also been undermined by a larger corporation. Sinclair Broadcasting purchases stations and shifts their focus from local stories to national news with a heavily conservative bias. It's important to note that these changes are not community-driven, but mandated by the new owners of the station. With the controlling corporation demanding an increasing focus on editorialized stories focused outside of the community, the audience can be easily blindsided by local events or larger stories that fall outside the company's acceptable talking points. Because of companies like Sinclair, it's important to look into the ownership behind a news source and remain knowledgeable of any bias they have. Look for wording and graphics that portray a story in a particular light and understand if the author is priming you to come to a particular conclusion. Media bias fact check is a useful tool for this, though it overlooks more rural sources. Also stay aware of press releases and native advertising, which masquerade as newsworthy articles or videos, touting medical or technological breakthroughs to build the credibility of a corporation. Improving your community's news ecosystem requires a wide range of actions, including reinvestment from donors, redistributing profits from search aggregated news, public funding, and the reforms to public broadcasting and journalism. If you can, join membership programs for local publications. Consider whitelisting these sites for ad-blocking software you use, and donate to public media and nonprofit outlets. Write to representatives about the importance of local news and the need for public funding, and send comments to the FCC about countering deregulation efforts. For instance, Australia has adopted laws making it mandatory for companies like Google and Facebook to pay the news sources they exploit. If stories need to be shared with the community, keep others informed in whatever way you can, and send that information to local publications. And finally, get more people to participate in local government, challenging incumbents, generating interest in local policies, and thus creating higher demand for journalistic coverage. Bolstering local news is important to keep others appraised of vital information, and to get people more involved in the well-being of your community. Thank you for watching. If you want more content from PraxisU, don't forget to subscribe to the channel and click the bell for notifications. Also consider following us on Twitter, Instagram, or Reddit to further discuss methods of improving your community through a wide variety of action. Special thanks to Ornos for the video suggestion, and to workerguy, Ilkin Gamber, Mitchell Thompson, and our other patrons for funding this video. We really appreciate the support as we continue building PraxisU.